Pioneer with full count, pitch on the outer edge, and he just goes with it. Look at this nice swing right there. Again, one of those two-strike approaches, but great power there the other way. And then for the second consecutive inning, Bowling Green has their leadoff man aboard.
His honorable mention All-State at Olentangy. Bowling Green thankful that Ohio State didn't pick him up as a local, as they have a lot of those Columbus area players playing for the Buckeyes. There's a bunt by Fugit, a Nebraska transfer, and losing his footing. A wild throw from Russo. That's going to allow the run to score. And Fugit will pull up at second base. And he will hold there, but a throwing error because of Russo losing his footing. Not really necessarily his fault, but it nonetheless is recorded on the scoreboard. There you see he stumbled first, then he slipped, and then there was no chance. He probably should have just not even ventured the throw.
I think you're right. A tremendous bunt that time by Justin Fugit there, hitting just 159, trying to get the runner to third. But again, these teams love to put pressure on defenses. And Bowling Green's able to push across another run to take the lead. And now, once again, looking to put up a crooked number. Right now, you can be situational. You got number 8 hitter up, Leighton Banjoff here with the runner on second, and it's still not an out.
Outside 1-1, pardon me. Banjoff, the Nebraska transfer. Justin Fugit was also a Big Ten transfer from Purdue, although he did not play for the Boilermakers. But Banjoff actually played a lot and played pretty effectively for Nebraska for 3 years. He hit .250, had 10 homers, 37 RBIs. And they really felt that they lost Adam Furness, who was an excellent player last year, as they went down to second there. Diving back in was Fugit. But they thought that bringing in Banjoff would really help to make up for that loss. But really, offense has probably been the biggest stumbling block for Bowling Green so far this year, although it was not expected to be so when the season began. 1 ball and 2 strikes here now.
Right now, Banjoff needs to find a way to get Fugit to third base here.
There's nobody out for the big inning. Fouled out of play. Brian Johnson on deck, and then we'll be back up to the top of the order. Wild pitch and throwing error has really hurt Eastern's cause, and getting around on that one, ripping it into left field. That will bring in the run, then the ball is mishandled in left field, and that will allow, albeit barely, Banjoff to get into second base. Probably call that a single and an error, but he does drive in the run, and now it's 3-1 for Bowling Green, and Eastern Michigan is really hurting themselves defensively in this game. See here how the ball was just mishandled, and that allowed him to take second base, although it was a good throw, and they almost had him.
Well, that's what that aggressive base running does. You know, that time, even with no out, Kyle Hallett trying to send Fugit all the way from second base, and it pays off, puts some pressure on. And Kirk, who was all MAC defensive team last year in the outfield, has a rare error, and that allows Banjoff to head to second base. Still with no one out. Look for another bunt situation here.
Ryan Johnson. It's a strike to even it up at 1-1. Of course, Kirk, the MAC Player of the Year last year, he said he led the nation in doubles, had a great glove. He really up high in all of the major hitting statistics. Man, that one he tight in on the fist. And he swung and missed, 1-2. Here's where Russo is really going to have to show the form that has been reflected in his statistical performance this year to keep Bowling Green from building a sizable lead, and he chased that one. And there is strike 3.
Well, that was a nasty cutter right there. And again, good things happen. You can get hitters to negative counts. That's an awfully big pitch right there. And that's going to keep Leighton Banjoff right at second base. And now the lineup will turn over for Archbold product DJ Newman, who walked and came around to score to start things out in the first inning.
Could have a little bit of a meeting of the minds. over there at the plate. You know, Eastern Michigan, even if they do fall behind early, it's not going to necessarily bother them that much. They've had 4 games this year where they've been down 4 runs or more and come back and won. They were down 3-0 after the first half inning yesterday and came back and won. Maybe they've just able to come in and settle down Luke Russo a little bit here. That strikeout was a good comeback for him to get that first out, but now he's facing the top of the order, DJ Newman, who walked and scored his first time up. That one drops in for a strike to get ahead in the count. Newman does not have the number of at-bats that most of the other Falcon players have. This is only his 36th official at-bat, assuming it goes for that. He has been hitting well of late, and he's been inserted in the top of the batting order. There's a pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
A well-located 1-1 pitch that time for Russo as he's able to paint that outside corner right at the knees of Newman. And now Newman in a negative count at 1-2.
Discriminating eye there, even with the 2-2, a good place for a 1-2 pitch. Newman batted .509 his junior year. That was the year he was first team All-State at Arch Bowl. It's just a matter of time for him before he starts really hitting. And he chops that ball. They were shifted over a little bit toward the left, and that opened up a hole at second base. And he hit right through it. And that makes it 4-1 Bowling Green. And I'll tell you, if more people did that, they wouldn't have to legislate against the shift in the major league level.
Oh, that was a tremendous piece of hitting by the freshman DJ Newman. Watch it right here. This is a tough pitch here, but again, the 2-strike approach doesn't try to do too much with it for a freshman. Tremendous play. He's able to drive home another run here for the Falcons. And now the speedster DJ Newman at first base. He's 5 for 5 in stolen bases. Kyle Gurney, who was second-team All-MAC a year ago at the plate.
And ball 1. Russo is really having...
That was a balk. That time Russo did not get set, so DJ Newman will advance to scoring position. And once again, another opportunity here for Bowling Green to tack another run on with Kyle Gurney. Hitting .321, the lead hitter for the Falcons.
And that one is another base hit through the diving attempt at third. And that will score yet another run. Well, we said Eastern has come back from 4-run deficits a lot this year. Well, they're going to have to do it here today if they're going to come up with another win in that department, as they now trail 5-1, and it really appears that Russo is rattled. The balk, the wild pitch, uncharacteristic inability to find the plate. And Bowling Green, as we said before, had a chance to turn it into a big inning, and they have done it.
Yeah, it's really been incredible. You mentioned it, Greg, that teams hitting just 195 off Russo all season. And here you're looking at a Bowling Green team that's last in the MAC in batting average at .211, but yet they're seeing the baseball awfully well. They have 5 hits here in the second inning alone. And right now enjoying a 5-1 advantage here as Eastern Michigan just tries to maybe settle things out here a little bit. Try to minimize things knowing you got a lot of baseball ahead of you.
Well, and that's what we were saying earlier, is that Eastern Michigan, their bullpen is a little thin. And with a doubleheader today, they were really hoping to get a good number of innings out of Russo. Although, except for that earlier game with Miami, he hasn't really gone that deep in games. And this has been exactly what they did not want to have happen, and Bowling Green couldn't have written a better script from their standpoint, as they not only lead 5-1, but they really have opened up on Russo. And you said it's strange. A lot of strange things happen in baseball, though, and anything can happen in a given game. Ohio, they were down 10-3 in their game yesterday, and ended up a 10-run inning that won that. So you just never know what's going to happen. It won that. So you just never know what's going to happen.
And Eastern Michigan does not have a soul down there in the bullpen. So right now they're just going to trust Russo here to get stronger as he goes. Somehow find a way to get out of the second inning here. Right now, Bowling Green's been very disciplined at the plate. They've done a great job of working the pitch count. They've got into multiple 3-ball counts here this afternoon, and they've taken advantage of each and every one.
Outside, 2-1 to Sam Seidel. And he bunted and was thrown out the first time he was up. That saved a runner from scoring back when it was still 0-0. Things have gone a lot worse since then for Eastern, and he slices that one to left center, but ranging over to make the catch, Logan Hugo. And when that first leaped off his bat, it looked like a possible gapper that really would have put Eastern in hot water, but a good play out there in center field by Hugo.
It really was. He got a great read off the bat that time, and the ball looked like it might have eyes early on, but it stayed up just long enough. And a big second out there for the Eagles. Look for BG to possibly aggressive here with 2 outs.
Nathan Rose, he hit that tough ground ball to shortstop that was beautifully played by Taylor Hopkins, or it could have done even more damage, but it did drive in DJ Newman with the opening run of the game. 0-1. And now 0-2. So an unaccustomed position today, although a very accustomed position typically for Russo, being ahead in the count.
He's had a tough time locating some of those secondary pitches. His off-speed stuff has been staying up.
And when he's been off, he's been dangerously off. There's another ball that could have gotten behind Aaron Dolney, save for a very good block by the catcher. And that, of course, would have put another runner in scoring position. They've given away far too much for free, although certainly take nothing away from Bowling Green's hitting. Swung on. There's another ball that's hit really well, and a great play by Hugo in center field, ranging to his right. He made a fine play a moment ago, but he really outdid himself on that one. And that ends the inning, and that keeps the game even relatively close. 5-1 Bowling Green after 2.
This is how legends are made.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups, or get $3,750 total value on a 2023 Silverado with a turbo high output engine. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
This is how legends are made.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups, or get $3,750 total value on a 2023 Silverado with a turbo high output engine. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
For like an hour workout on a Zoom meeting, I guess it's a body weight workout.
Well, we got another look at that catch to end the previous inning. That is one of the best catches that you're ever going to see out in center field. 2 great plays by Hugo, but especially that last one, keeping this game from almost getting out of hand early on.
Yeah, that last one he completely sold out. If he does not come up with that, that's going to be at least 1 run, maybe an inside-the-park home run. But highway robbery, and a great in there for Eastern Michigan to try to minimize things. But now they have work to do, trailing 5-1 here as we start things out in the 3rd inning.
1-0 to Corey Taylor, the second baseman. And he swung away at that. Came up empty, 1-1. Taylor was an All-American, honorable mention in high school out of Shelbyville, Indiana.
Now, look, granted, I don't know. Maybe not all programs are handling it like that.
Went inside. Taylor batting at .282.
By the letter of the law. Maybe some aren't doing the contact. I don't really know how this is all regulated, but
And
to just think that
when just outside, our colleagues over there doing the radio broadcast said that Rose had been on an 0 for 16 slump. It looked like he'd broken out of it in a big way, but Hugo had other ideas. There's ball 4. Nope. Or was it? He chucked the bat, and I thought maybe they pulled it back, but no, it was ball 4. So it gets Eastern Michigan started, and rallies that get you right back in a ball game start with humble things like leadoff walks.
You're exactly right, and Eastern Michigan just needs to find a way to win it in here. They don't have to get all those runs back now, but they want to try to kind of right the ship here a little bit. This is an Eastern Michigan offense that's been awfully potent all season, scoring over 7 runs per contest on the season.
Glenn Miller is up. And if they were playing at home, I wonder if they break into In the Mood when he steps up. He was in a hitting mood yesterday when he did a solo home run to help Eastern's cause. He comes right in there with that for strike 1. So far, Peyton Wilson has just had excellent command, although that walk to Taylor broke a little bit of a string there where he had 3 strikeouts and did not allow a walk to that point. He's got a 2-to-1, almost 2-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio. In fact, he had it exactly 16-32 until that last walk that we just saw.
Yeah, the one thing about Peyton Wilson, he's going to compete out there. You know, one of those many multi-sport athletes on the Falcon roster. There you see a nice-looking fastball that paints that outside edge. He's able to get on top of Miller, 1-2.
Playing him straight away. And he just comes down and froze him there for strike 3 looking. That's his 4th strike, and that must have really froze him because with 2 strikes, you don't take a pitch like that typically.
Yeah, that time looked like he was almost looking for something off speed, and that time that heavy fastball sinker right at the knees. Big punch out there for the 6'1 junior.
He definitely got taken aback. Now Matt Kurt. And pitches low. Taylor's off and running. The throw tails into center field. And so once again, aggressive base running makes a difference. And it's very early in the game. Eastern Michigan is a power hitting team. They're a very adventurous team on the bases. They can easily make up 4 runs over a course of an entire ball game. And here they're on the verge of starting to nibble their way back in.
Yeah, I love the fact that they're running bases here in the 3rd inning, down 4 runs. A lot of teams, once they get behind, they're not going to run. They're going to shut that running game down, but certainly not Eric Roof in his 6th season with the Eagles. What a job he's done. You know, talking to them before the game, Greg, you know, he wants to put that pressure on each team each and every inning. You know, that's a team that's just going to try to make you make plays. And the stolen base 8-2 gives them a runner at 3rd.
There's a bounding ball foul. Eric Roof played at Michigan State. He was their captain as a senior. He had a .314 lifetime batting average for the Spartans, and then he played 3 years in A-ball before he started a coaching career.
He was drafted by the Tigers in the 18th round after graduating from Michigan State. And assistant coach Jonathan Roof, his brother, also played for the Spartans as well and was a draft pick by the Rangers back in 2010.
Eric played in the Tiger organization for those 3 years. That'll score the run, and the ball fails to be handled as Seidel had to take it on the backhand, and it handcuffed him. And so now the same kind of things that have been hurting Eastern Michigan seem to be hurting the Falcons.
A nice job that time by Kirk. You know, that's going to go as an E4, but he will get an RBI there. As again, Bowling Green with the infield deep was going to allow the run. But big break there for the Eagles. We'll see if they can cash in as they try to chip away at this deficit.
So they had the wild throw on the steal attempt that allowed the runner to take an extra base. Now they had this error at second base. They had an error in the 2nd inning at 3rd base. It didn't cost them, but here, going the opposite way, a twisting liner into left field, another base hit. Now they got runners on 1st and 2nd, and Eastern's already got visions of getting back in the ball game.
Once again, just a tremendous job by Josh Krause once again, who now is halfway to the cycle with a home run and a single here. We're just in the 3rd inning. You can see why he was 6th in the MAC in hitting coming into this afternoon. As at that time he saw a tough pitch, but again, just takes it the other way. And right now that'll bring the tying run to the plate here in Taylor Hopkins, who has 7 home runs on the season for Eastern Michigan.
And that one is up. Appeared to be up a bit high, maybe outside, but he gave him the corner, and he said it was just inside the strike zone. You got to love any umpire that'll give the letter high strike. No balls and 1 strike.
Still is kind of what it was. And
a lot of umpires, the belt buckle has become the strike zone. Throw to second base, he's back in.
Well, haven't seen a lot of MAC games this season. There are a few umpires that consistently give that letter high strike. There's a lot that will not. But we've seen it called a little bit more this year, I think we have in past seasons. So that's something as a player you just have to adjust to.
From the linebacker position, try and keep contained and keep Derek King in the pocket.
No balls and 1 strike, checking over at second, and now the ball is blocked. He's going to try to take third and second, and they're both safe. At first, it looked like Gurney might try to throw out Kirk at third base. He realized he couldn't do that, so then he changed his sights to second base, but Cross got down there, and so again, Bowling Green with a miscue. The wild pitch allowing 2 runners to advance. Now take off the force. You got 2 more runners in scoring position. These are the kind of things that will allow another team back in the game quick. Swung on, and plus they've been hitting well. That one's into left center field, and that one will get all the way to the fence. That'll score 2 runs. And just like that, Taylor Hopkins is driven in 2, and it's a 5-4 game. The tying run's at second base. And at first, that looked like the kind of balls that Hugo was able to flag down in center field, left center field in the last inning, but that one just had too much distance on it.
With the warm temps today, watching batting practice this morning, the ball's carrying very well here at Stellar Park. And that one was hit on the screws. And by the time that thing lands, Eastern Michigan has a couple more runs. So just like that, they made this a 5-4 game. And again, credit to stolen base earlier that took off the double play scenario that might have ended this inning. So again, that pressure paying off. And right now the tying run on second base for the Eagles. And BG going to have a little visit right here just to try to settle things out, try to protect a 1-run lead.
It's just exactly the opposite situation. The shoe's on the other foot now, where they called a hasty conference out at the mound to try to settle down Luke Russo. Bowling Green does have some activity starting in their bullpen. And they're trying to settle down Peyton Wilson, who is just sailing along. And after the leadoff walk, which, again, causes so much trouble, and it did come around to score, but he struck out the leadoff man, Miller. He got Kirk to ground to second. It looked like he'd come out of it, but then after that error, solid hits by Cross and Hopkins, and now Darren Kraft is at the plate, and it is Rigo Ramos in the bullpen for Bowling Green. And an outside corner strike to Kraft. He had one of those hits in the 9th inning that led to Eastern coming from behind to win 8-6, and he's in a position for another big hit here.
That Kraft has an incredible .485 on-base percentage on the season, hit north of .325 as well.
So you're not saying that as any sort of prediction about
just
what's
missed the
gonna
inside
happen
corner
You're
there.
saying that, like, if you stick this
Wilson
forward,
continuing to
85 players in the Big
move his
12 this
location
year,
around. He was doing that very effective early in the game,
I would agree with that.
but they seem to be catching up with him a little bit more now. They've made solid contact 3 times in a row. There's a chopper to third. It's going to be a long throw, but no problem for Nathan Rose. And there are 2 outs.
Great job that time by Nathan Rose. Was able to check Hopkins back at second base and make the long throw across the infield. Big out right there for Peyton Wilson.
Now it's Schrodel, who was a Division III All-American player.
I do think that the lack of
He takes ball 1, so it would be a boost for Bowling Green psychologically if they could at least stay ahead at the end of this inning.
that impressed with it.
Schroeder played 3 years at Crown College. He's a third-team All-American there. High. Two balls and no strikes. Schroeder reached on the air by the third baseman. It's just a slight mishandling of a hard-hit ground ball, but it made the difference. It's similar to the error that led things off in the ninth inning. Again, just slightly misplayed, but allowed the runner to reach, and that just started things off.
You get Florida's wide receivers and
Allowed Eastern to go on to that victory. Now it's 3-0.
The upgrade is immediate and tremendous.
First base is empty, so they could still
It's just not
set up a
like that.
potential
Wide
force
receiver
out to end the inning.
right now in the victory.
He's not going to give anything too good here.
And to your point about them running the football, I mean, that's yeah, I get it. But it's sort of
Got
like
that one
LSU,
knee high.
You know, LSU's getting dinged for not running the football well.
For 3-1, he was taken all the way there.
Florida's not running the football well, but they scored on, I think it was 7 of 9 possessions.
Now we'll see where he goes on this hitter's pitch.
And so, and I mean, I get the. I'm not dismissing the point, but
And he jammed him.
I think it's
He got around, fought it off to
discussion is
keep
like,
alive,
it doesn't matter.
and the count
Maybe it
goes to
does.
3-2.
I don't know. Like, I think if you're
A
that
well-located
distant
fastball that time, right on the hands.
yeah, I don't know. A 4-minute
Another
offense, I
3-ball
guess.
count Wilson's got himself into.
But,
Hey, I know you're
Here's
all
where you
about
have to
passes, the extension of the run
step
game.
up and
You
come
used to run
through.
the ball and just throwing
And
those
right
swing
through the
passes
middle, and the ball is gloved beautifully. The throw, but there will be no play. A great defensive play there by Seidel. Saves a run and almost threw Schroeder out at first base, and that would have rivaled the catch by Hugo if he'd been able to do it.
That's a big-time play. Just keeping that in the infield temporarily scratches off a run for Eastern Michigan, so that's a big-time play. As right now, Bowling Green still protected that one-run lead. Well, that's a base hit all the way. What a big-time effort by Seidel.
He didn't miss throwing him out by too much. It was pretty evident that he wasn't going to quite do it. But in this particular case, preventing the run proved to be just as important. But now here is Hugo, the man who made that great catch in center field to end that big inning for Bowling Green, limit it to 4. Up here now trying to really produce a big inning for Eastern Michigan. They've already got 3, but you could duplicate what Bowling Green did the last inning. That first pitch was outside, and looks like we're going to have a pitching change right now. They've seen enough.
For Missouri because you're coming off the LSU end with a lot of juice.
And Ramos will come in, and he will inherit an unenviable situation, but that's what the relievers do.
The ones with they have they could use some time to get healthy, but they weren't the ones that get canceled on this meeting. You know.
And there he is, number 17.
17. And a big circle around that one.
Thought
Ramos,
I
a 6'5" junior left-handed pitcher.
I thought I saw a signal there.
Not a
but
harsh bull, but he's just hot right now. The bullpen staying ready here, and I think Coach Howe just trying to buy Regal maybe a little bit more time there to warm up. And remember, Hugo was a strikeout victim of Wilson back in the second inning, so maybe he likes the matchup he has right here. He's going to stick with the junior right-hander, Peyton Wilson, to record this final out.
Coming out there after he'd gotten behind in the count again, and I thought I even saw a signal, but apparently not. But it has happened where you'll do that right in the middle of an at-bat. If things aren't going your way, you'll go ahead and make the change. But they're going to give Wilson the chance to pitch out of this. Probably not a very long leash at this point. And goes to 2-0.
I remember Ramos was a Friday night starter for the Falcons a couple of seasons ago before he had Tommy John surgery, but he's bounced back nicely. It's been a good fixture out of the bullpen for the Falcons.
So many pitchers coming back well from Tommy John, which used to be a career-ending type of injury, which was for its namesake, Tommy John. 2-1, but giving Wilson the chance to pitch out of this could be a fateful decision in this game, depending on which way it goes. They've really been getting to him. And that one's beaten into the ground. But if he is able, on the other hand, to right himself and get out, then be the right decision, and then see what they do going forward. Whether they would possibly let him continue or make the move to start the fourth inning. Runner is off and was trying to draw the throw. Now they do, and almost gets thrown away. And now I go back to third, and he barely got back in time as they were just trying to play some gamesmanship on the bases to maybe allow Hopkins to get in, and it turned out it almost backfired on them. For an instant, I thought they had him going back into third.
Yeah, I was surprised Schrodel, once he had an opportunity to take second base, he didn't take it. And there you see good slide is the only thing that was able to save him from being picked off.
3-2, the throw down to first. And now you see that typically you may not do that with a runner on third and 2 outs, but since he's shown that proclivity to run, he wants to limit the lead that he takes. But you can't lose focus on the batter. Runner's off again. Inside, he lost him. It's ball 4. That loads the bases. And Dolney is due up.
Yeah, right now both pitchers have hurt themselves by falling behind in the count, not getting those first pitch strikes, way too many 3-ball counts. When you do that, you're playing with fire. And now the bases are juiced. Aaron Dolney,
it looks
the
like
catcher.
He's going to continue to let Wilson go. They got the lefty in the bullpen. Here's a left-handed batter at the plate. Might be an ideal time to make a change. Swung on. Looks like they're going to get out of it, though. A ground ball right to second base. Seidel throws on to retire the side, and Bowling Green clings to what is now a slim lead. They were up 5-1. Now it's 5-4 after 2.5. It is dog day here, the first game of this doubleheader, and every day at Stellar Field is dog day. And they're certainly enjoying the weather and the chance to romp around, and fans have brought out their lawn chairs, and it is ideal conditions for this game, which is why they scheduled a doubleheader. They're anticipating inclement weather tomorrow, and so they're going to get both games in here today and take advantage of the good weather. Bowling Green up 5-4, still leading, and Nathan Archer leads off the inning. He struck out his first time, and that one's outside. Bowling Green, I think, can consider themselves quite fortunate that they're still leading right now.
Yeah, that time Eastern Michigan batted around all 9 batters, but they only put 3 runs across the board, leaving the bases juiced. So right now, if you're Bowling Green, you want to come right back, put something on the board, try to extend that lead. Of course, Luke Russo thinking the opposite. He wants to settle in here, keep this a 1-run game, going for that shutdown inning.
Strike at the knees. 2 balls, 1 strike. Playing him in third base. And he turned on it and ripped it down the right field line. But the third baseman, Glenn Miller, was playing in on the grass. But he had other ideas as he really got into that ball. But foul, and it's 2-2. Now 3-2.
Once again, another 3-ball count by Russo, who has really kind of been his own worst enemy. Fall behind so many Bowling Green hitters to this juncture.
Both pitchers piling up their pitch count. That one's up high, and sooner or later they're going to have to make changes on that basis if this keeps up. And Archer draws a walk, and those leadoff walks again. In fact, there have been 2 leadoff walks given up in this game, and both of them have come around to score. And now Tyler Ross, the batter.
Remember, last year Archer won the top stolen base threats in the MAC. This year, 9 for 9 on the season. And now Ross, who doubled and scored just an inning ago, looking to keep the line moving.
You're saying both of these teams are real threats on the base paths. Bowling Green, 41st in the country, 4th in the MAC in steals. They're averaging, that is, steals per game, 1.76 steals per game. Just a little bit high. There he was asking for that letter high strike and didn't get it.
Now, once again, fall behind in the count. That's been a common theme, really, on both sides of the ledger here this afternoon, but particularly for Russo.
Inside corner strike. Still no activity in that Eastern Michigan bullpen. You have to maybe think that Bowling Green might make a change at the start of the fourth inning. Sticking with Wilson was a gutsy decision, but it paid off as he rose to the occasion. Squared to bunt, let it go by for strike two.
Now back-to-back nasty sliders from Luke Russo. That one completely fooled Tyler Ross.
Now he's in a position to maybe waste one, throw over to first base. You've been able to see that both teams are quite concerned with the opposing team's base runners, probably knowing that the other team mirrors their own aggressive base running philosophy. So all the more so, they got to try to keep them close to the bag. Opposite field line shot to right field, but on the move to make the catch, Schrodel. And Archer will have to retreat. And Bowling Green, they've really been hitting some balls very well. But those outfielders ranging over to make the plays for Eastern.
Yeah, once again, great read off the bat by Schrodel. That ball was hit on the numbers. Good opposite field power that time. That time it looked like Eastern Michigan, that no doubles defense, played a little deep. And that's a big first out there for Luke Russo.
You get the batter. He reached on an error. That was the one where he made that little roller. And the pitcher tried to cover it, but stumbled and then slipped. Then threw the ball wildly.
To take off here in this pitch, and there he
goes.
goes.
Go, the throw, and the ball beats him there. The tag is laid on. They got him. The throw was a little bit to the left of the bag anyway, but a good recovery by Taylor Hopkins. He was able to lay it on to catch Archer stealing for a big out. And as you said, he was 9 for 9. It's the first time they've gotten him this year.
Yeah, that time Eastern Michigan pitched out, and they needed to, or else Archer was going to beat that all the way. But that's a huge play there by that Eagle defense. And now just 1 out away from getting out of this third inning unscathed.
That's what I just said, too. Both teams know the other team plays very similar to what they do, so it's almost like, what would we do if we were playing each other? And they go with a pitch out, and it pays off. 2-1. You almost get the feeling that Russo might be able to settle down. He might be able to weather the storm, and if he could get out of an inning with no damage, that might give him the confidence he needs. There's a high fly ball to left. Should not present a problem for Kirk, although we've seen some issues with the sun today. But he gloves it, and for the first time, a relatively uneventful inning for Luke Russo of Eastern Michigan. And after 3, it is still 5-4 Bowling Green. Grounds crew at work here at Stellar Field as we go to the top of the fourth. 5-4, Bowling Green leading, and they're sticking with Peyton Wilson. Looked like he was maybe on the verge of being replaced. He gutted out that last inning. And now he can start from scratch and see if he can recover the form that he showed in the first 2 innings, which, save for the solo home run by Josh Cross, he was very effective. Corey Taylor leading off. And he looked good on that one. Wicked breaking pitch, and Taylor was just tied up in knots.
I remember both teams had to go into that bullpen in Friday night's series opener, so right now I don't think we're seeing that quick hook that you might in some games across the series. Right now, both coaches trying to ride out their starter.
Swung on. That one is belted by Taylor. That is deep and gone. And the second solo home run of the game for the Eagles has tied this up at 5.
Great job that time from Corey Taylor. That's going to be his 5th home run of the season. Wow, you talk about getting some production from the 9 spot. That's the 2nd run scored here this afternoon by Corey Taylor. And that's going to knot things up at 5 apiece. But that was one of those no-doubters. That time he got a lot of that baseball. There you see it go into the trees.
And if there is any doubt the wind is pushing out, that helped it even more. But certainly that was labeled. And now Glenn Miller is up. He struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. And he is facing a 1-1 count now. Fouled off from the end of the bat. Again, Wilson seemed to get that ball up a little bit, as he did with Cross in that first inning home run. So Bowling Green has seen their 5-1 lead dissipate, just as they saw their 3-0 lead dissipate yesterday. There's another one. It's gloved beautifully deep by Johnson. The throw across, and he just barely missed getting Glenn Miller, who legged it out for an infield hit.
Well, right there's where you saw Ryan Johnson was all-MAC defensive a year ago. This is a base hit all the way, but look at that nice backhand, a quick release, and that's just a bang-bang play.
The way he was able to straighten up and make that throw. Now it is time to definitely make the pitching change, and Ramos will enter, the left-hander, and that will close the book on Peyton Wilson. Should we take a break? Yeah, we'll take a break, and we'll tell you about the new pitcher when we return. We're right back to where we started. 5-5 the score. It's all even. And we have another Archbold boy out here. We talked about DJ Newman, another one you're very familiar with in Rigo Ramos. He did not pitch last year, but the year before he had a team best ERA, 3.92 as a weekend starter. And he was All-State First Team Division III at Defiance. What can you tell us about him?
Well, the 6'5" junior out of Archbold, he's another one of those all-round athletes we've seen on this Bowling Green staff. He was an outstanding basketball and baseball player for the Blue Streaks. In fact, you and I, Greg, had him in a regional final game, I think, at the Stroh Center a few years back where Archbold came up a little bit short. But, Ramos has had great numbers out of the bullpen here this season, and he does have 23 innings pitched, giving up 25 hits. During that time, he has 26 strikeouts, 18 walks, and he's been very effective here in his last 4 or 5 outings for Coach Kyle Halleck, and right now just trying to keep it a 5-5 ball game here with no one out, runner on first base.
Came up against the lefty Kirk, who fouls it off. I somewhat expected to see him in the previous inning when after they kept Wilson in after the first conference on the mound. Then a lefty came up and they stuck with Wilson. But now they make the move with the lefty after that home run and the single.
There you see a battle of the bands there at first base with Glenn Miller, the runner, and first base umpire Steve Miller.
Yeah, they both had their own band. That's right. Swung on, and that one is drilled with a vengeance down the line in right field. That'll be extra bases. A double for Matt Kirk, who led the nation in doubles the year before with 25. And this year, he's still continuing in that vein.
That's his 15th double this season, so he's right on pace for that 25 number he got a year ago. But look at that tremendous swing. That time Ramos left that fastball a little bit upstairs. And that's a no-no against defending MAC Player of the Year, Matt Kirk, who turned that baseball around. And now a golden opportunity here for the Eagles with the potential go-ahead run at third base.
Came into this game tied for 19th in the nation in doubles, but 4th in terms of doubles per game. And swung on and missed. A good breaking pitch there on Josh Cross.
Yeah, that was a nasty off-speed changeup there by Ramos, who completely had Cross fooled. But Cross, a very dangerous hitter, as we've mentioned, leads the Eagles 370 coming into today, are already 2 for 2.
And he ripped that one right down the line, and that's a fair ball. So they went down the right field line, now another down the left field line. That'll clean the bases. And a rude awakening, or a rude greeting for Ramos. 2 RBIs, and now Cross is 3/4 of the way to the cycle. All he needs to do is hit a triple.
Tremendous piece of hitting once again. That ball about belt high once again, a little bit up in the strike zone. And Cross continues to be red hot here for Eastern Michigan. He's now 3 for 3 here with no one out in the top of the 4th inning. As you mentioned, Greg, just a triple away from completing the cycle.
And in that 21-5 romp over Western, he hit his first collegiate triple. So if he can make it 2 here today, he'll have that. And that one is in the dirt, and a good block there behind the plate by Kyle Gurney. Ramos come in, and he's been greeted with a single and 2 doubles, all really hit hard. Or pardon me, 2 doubles, and single was off of Wilson, but 2 hard hit doubles. That one's fouled back to the screen. And Eastern Michigan now has come from down 5-1 to up 7-5. And looking for a lot more as there's still nobody out. We've had a home run, a single, and 2 doubles the first 4 batters here in the top of the 4th. And Taylor Hopkins, who had a 2 RBI double his last time up, looking to continue the feast here. Outside. And this is what you would really call a key point in the ball game. It wasn't long ago, and we were wondering if Bowling Green was going to be able to turn it into a rout. And now Eastern is looking to establish a sizable lead of their own. Another good block behind the plate there by Gurney.
Yeah, it was. And both these catchers have had their work cut out today. We've seen multiple wild pitches, and we've seen a lot of 3-ball counts. And right now, that's where Ramos is at right here.
And there's ball 4, and he seems to be having some issues with his control. That is 5 consecutive batters reaching here at the start of the 4th inning, and 3 for extra base hits, 1 a home run, and another visit. And we've got some activity going again in the Bowling Green bullpen. So you've talked to Mr. Ramos a lot. So is he the type that'll be able to just not let this bother him and get plugged right back in?
He's the type of guy that can flush it. You know, he's a very competitor. Very competitive out there. He's one of those bulldog type kids on the bump, and he's a guy that wants the ball in his hands. Certainly not the start he envisioned, but he's a guy that's going to go down swinging for sure. And he understands right now you've got a lot of baseball left, so you have to have that same mindset that Eastern Michigan did just a couple of innings ago. You've got a lot of baseball ahead, so right now minimize things, give your offense a chance. This is going to be a high run scoring day. I think we both know the fact that the zone's been very tight for both teams. The ball's carried very well here. We've got warm conditions, ideal for hitting here this afternoon at Stellar Field.
Fouled off by Kraft. He has popped up to first and grounded to third in his first 2 at-bats, so he has yet to get in on the fun from a hitting standpoint. But he's trying to change that now in what would be a big situation. Ramos up on the count. Let's see if he can take advantage of it. He squares the bunt, pops it up. Boy, that is manna from heaven for Bowling Green as Gurney gets under it, and that's a big out. And maybe will help to steady things a little bit with Schroedel coming up.
Yeah, this could be a huge shot in the arm. That time trying to push both runners in scoring position, but he gets under it. And a big out there for Rigo Ramos, as Gurney's able to snare that botched bunt.
Sometimes that's all you need is to get that first out under your belt and just loosen up a little, and you begin to find your potential, meet your potential. That one, another good block by Gurney. He's done an excellent job there of keeping potentially damaging wild pitches from being recorded.
Gurney's been one of the best in the MAC. We've seen that throughout his career. Last year, 2nd team All-MAC. That's a huge play. That keeps that double play in order.
And you'd hate to give him that again after you just got a break on the pop-up bunt. So that's 2 plays by Gurney. And a check swing, little bounder. And they'll allow the runners to advance in exchange for an out anytime there. And now all you have to do is retire the batter, although you do have 2 runners in scoring position. It's Logan Hugo, who struck out and walked, coming up.
Yeah, big juncture right here for the Falcons and Rigo Ramos. As Logan Hugo, 265 hitter of the season, the sophomore right now, 0 for 1. He did walk just an inning ago. And Logan Hugo, 2 big hits yesterday, 3 RBIs. Had a big game, scored a couple runs in that 8-6 Eagle victory.
2 of them were home runs. Outside corner. No balls and a strike, so once again up in the count. Ramos could just get out of here. He could really get himself together going forward. And ground ball, it looks like he's going to, as it's fielded over at second base. Seidel the throw. And after it, just when it looked like Bowling Green was on the precipice, Rigo Ramos comes back and retires 3 in a row and limits them to just 3 runs. But Eastern up 7-5 after 3.5.
New Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris. 20 times more volume, up to 2 times more length. A clump-resistant caring formula, now infused with floral oil.
Take your lashes to paradise.
New Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris.
We're worth it.
CSN broadcast is brought to you by PNC Bank.
We go to the last of the 4th inning. And Eastern Michigan has fought from behind. They've scored 6 consecutive runs to erase a 5-1 deficit. See a lot of hits and a number of errors, too, for both teams at crucial junctures. Has contributed to the high score at this point. But we'll see now, because Russo had a relatively uneventful inning. He gave up a leadoff walk, but then retired the next 2, and Archer was caught stealing. We'll see if that settles him down as Leighton Benjoff leads off the inning. And a strike.
Well, that's a great sign. First pitch strike. Try to pitch with a lead. Try to get your team that shutdown inning after you put up consecutive crooked numbers in the 3rd and 4th innings.
Outside, Eastern starting to get a little activity going in the bullpen. And Russo, that's the one thing, is that he threw a lot of pitches in those first 2 innings in particular. And that's going to limit his ability to perhaps go too deep into this game, even if he does recover his typical form. Outside, 2-2. Benjoff got an RBI on that ground ball, even though it was an error. And he's called out on strikes there. So that's now 3 consecutive batters that have been set down by Russo. That's the first time that he's put together a skein like that in this game. His 3rd strikeout, and for the first time you really kind of get the sense that he's in command right now as Johnston steps in. Showed bunt, but takes a strike.
But now he's starting to command all his pitches. There you see a nice-looking slider there to start things out on Johnston, right on that inside corner.
Kicks and deals, swung on and missed. He's looking more imposing as we go along. If he could put together some quick innings where he doesn't mount that pitch count too much, it might help him be able to stay in later on. There's a bounder to short. Once again, charging it and playing it beautifully is Taylor Hopkins for out number 2. He certainly patrols that shortstop position with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, he does a great job. You know, he makes those plays look so easy. But again, the key is his footwork is excellent. He does a great job anticipating. At that time, he's able to make quick work of Ryan Johnson. That'll turn it over to leadoff hitter DJ Newman.
See how he's able to make that throw, even though he isn't completely in balance. He's on the move and couldn't plant or straighten up, but he still has made excellent, accurate throws. Newman, the batter, 0-1, and takes it outside for 1-1.
And Newman's been a tough out in this Eastern Michigan series. In his 7 plate appearances, he's reached base 5 times for the Falcons.
Scored 2 runs in this game and was very aggressive and effective on the base paths. As he went to second on a wild pitch, stretched it to third, and probably got in as a result of that. 1-2. And he took a good cut at that, but fouled it back to the screen.
Good-looking 2-strike swing that time by Newman, who was not going to get cheated. Fouls it back. Count remains at 1-2 for the freshman.
Had he been able to straighten that one out, it had gone a good way. Again, they're shading him to the right. And that one just missed, 2-2. If he were able to hit it into left center, I don't think that Hugo, even with all the range he's shown, would be able to get to it. The 2-2. And that one's in on the fist, fouled down the first base line. So good job again by Newman to stay alive and wait for maybe just a slight lapse by Russo that he can really drive the ball. Wind is going dead out to center field now. It's been a hitter's day in every respect. Fouls it off again.
This has been a very competitive bat by Newman. He's fought off some tough pitches. Did a great job holding on that 1-2 slider that just missed the inside corner. And now the 7th pitch of the at-bat coming up to Newman.
He was not only a first-team All-State player, he was runner-up for State Player of the Year at Arch Bowl. But there he takes strike 3. So after all that work to stay alive, Russo came in and seemed to cross him up because he let it go and got called out. So another good inning for Russo, and after 4, it's still 7-5 Eastern.
New Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris. 20 times more volume, up to 2 times more length. A clump-resistant caring formula, now infused with floral oil.
Take your lashes to paradise.
New Lash Paradise Mascara from L'Oreal Paris.
We're worth it.
I'm your overly competitive brother. Check. Psych.
Really? Dude, that's a foul!
And now you're ready to settle a score. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, well, you can end up paying for all this yourself. So get Allstate.
See Rigo Ramos, also from Arch Bowl, warming up. You said we saw him at the Stroh Center. He must have liked what he saw when he came to campus, because here he is playing for the Bowling Green Falcons. And sometimes with pitchers like him, if you're going to get to him, you better do it early, because once they start to find a groove, then they're a lot tougher to get to. It started to look like that because he got him 1, 2, 3 after a rough beginning.
I agree. I think we're starting to see that from Luke Russo for the Eagles as well. You know, he did not look sharp the first 2 or 3 innings, but he's done a nice job selling in. He's now retired 7 of the last 8 hitters, and Ramos trying to pick up here where he left off by getting the last 3 hitters he faced here for Eastern Michigan.
Dolney leading off. He flied to center and grounded to second, and he takes one upstairs for ball 1. Game, he had a grand slam against Western, that 21-5 game. He had 6 RBIs that day, which is a career high. He hit .344 last year, was second on the team. And a little looper, and this one will, unlike the earlier one, where a great play was made over at first base by Tyler Ross. That one just got beyond the grasp of Ryan Johnson for a leadoff base hit.
Now watch it right there. A pretty good 2-0 pitch there by Ramos. You saw the strength of Dolney, who was sawed off, and Dolney's able to fight that into shallow left field. And he now has his first base hit. And once again, Eastern Michigan, for the second consecutive inning, has their leadoff man aboard.
Brings up Corey Taylor, who had that skyrocketing shot over the left center field fence for a home run to start the Eastern 4th. to tie the game at that point.
Remember, Dolney has good wheels at first base. 8 for 8 on the season in stolen bases. Has a healthy lead here against Ramos.
Outside, 1-1. For the game, they honored the last three MAC champion Bowling Green teams from 98, 08, and 13. They brought all the players back. It was a great way to create a good atmosphere for the team coming into this game. We talked about it, the 2013 team. They needed to win the last game of the regular season to get into the tournament. They were down in the ninth. They rallied back and did it, and then they ended up winning the tournament. 1-1, just outside. 2 balls and a strike. That was back when the tournament was played at Chillicothe.
And I see not only those guys in attendance, but nice to see them honored on the 10th, 15th, and 25th anniversary of those MAC championship teams.
Hard to believe how many years have gone by. Up high, 3-1. So Ramos once again facing an adverse count situation. Playing him straight away here. Ball 4.
That's going to be a balk. And that's going to move Dolney to scoring position.
And it turns out it would have been ball 4. And they would have gotten over to first and second.
Great point here from head coach Eric Roof. You have the option on a balk. The official tried to call that dead right away. You have the option on a balk. You can let the balk stand or you can take the play. And Coach Roof's going to take the play, that being ball 4. So right now, Eastern Michigan, once again, setting the table. They have something cooking here as they have first and second here off of Ramos. No one out here.
Not too much is going to escape the attention of Eric Roof.
What a baseball family he's from. We already talked about him and his brother, but of course his dad, Gene Roof, played in the bigs back in the 80s. And of course, his uncle, Phil Roof,
I remember watching
in the
him.
60s and 70s.
Yeah, I remember watching him play for the Twins.
How can you forget Paducah, Kentucky? But, Eric told me before the game, usually his dad, Gene, is at the ball games, although he's not in attendance here this afternoon. I may have to bring some baseball cards back tomorrow and see if I get a few.
You got a Phil Roof card?
Probably a couple hundred, actually.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ramos tried to get the outside corner, missed it. He just
right now, Ramos just not sharp. He's having a hard time hitting his spots.
Gave an extra snap when he took the ball back. You can tell that he's just not pleased with the way things are going at the moment. 2-1. Fouled it off for 2-2.
Well, there's that good fastball from Ramos. With that 6'5" frame, he can throw downhill. But again, he has to locate. He needs to live downstairs in the zone. That's a big pitch right there to get things even against Glenn Miller at 2-2.
This would be such a big out if he could get it. And he did get it. That was out of the strike zone, but he chased it in a big out there, retiring Miller. And that will bring up the dangerous Matt Kirk, last year's Player of the Year in the MAC. And he jumped out of his shoes trying to get to that one, but could not.
Now Ramos got a break. Glenn Miller left the zone there, going after that high slider. And now the sombrero for Miller. He struck out all 3 of his 4 bats here this afternoon.
Kirk doubled and scored his last time up. Reached on an error and scored in the 3rd. Grounded to short. Another good block there by Gurney. He's going to have some welts tomorrow, but well earned. And certainly helped his team's fortunes.
Another great series for Matt Kirk, who had 2 hits, 2 runs scored, and Also a walk in last night's Eagle victory. Today he's scored a couple runs, been on base 2 of his 3 times up.
Hitting at .353. The throw to second base, it gets into center field. And we've said that they've been quite concerned with the runners. And finally, it came back to burn them. And that will be a throwing error. That's the 4th Bowling Green error on the game, and they seem to all have been at key situations. And you do not want to put runners in scoring position like that for a guy like Matt Kirk.
Yeah, really out of character for both these teams throwing around, but that time Ramos spiked that ball to center field, and now the infield has to come in.
And Kirk, they still didn't get much on it, though, and they'll be able to make a play at the plate. And that is out number 2 as they get Dolney sliding in. Usually if you get any kind of velocity on a ground ball when the infield's pulled in like that, it's going to be a hit, but he just did not really get a lot on it, and he was able to make the play.
Out by the freshman Sam Seidel, who was in on the grass. That ball was not hit hard, so he didn't have a lot of time to fool around with. He did a great job gloving it, got out of his mitt in a hurry, and he made a strong throw there to Kyle Gurney, who applies the tag. Big second out there for the Falcons.
Brings up Cross at .370. He's their leading hitter average-wise in the lineup. They've got a .353, .370, .336, .327. The heart of their order is really one that can do a lot of damage, but Bowling Green is now an out away from getting out of this unscathed. Fouled away by Cross, who's already had the homer, a single, and a double in this game. This is, if you're Bowling Green, this is not the time for the triple, but it certainly is if you're Eastern.
Good looking 0-1 pitch there by Ramos, who's able to execute the fastball right at the knees. And now look for the 6'5 lefty to maybe try to get Cross to expand the zone.
And he hits it high in the air. That should take care of it here in the Eastern Michigan 5th, and a big exhale from the Bowling Green fans as Johnson makes the catch. And they hold Eastern to a goose egg in the top of the 5th. After 4.5, 7-5 Eagles.
Come here.
What makes L'Oreal Paris Hyaluronic Acid Serum loved by so many?
Our highest concentration of pure hyaluronic acid. Wrinkles are less visible by up to 47%.
Validated by dermatologists.
Revitalift Hyaluronic Acid Serum by L'Oreal.
I'm your overly competitive brother.
Check.
Psych.
Really? Dude, that's a foul!
But now you're ready to settle a score. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, well, you can end up paying for all this yourself. So get Allstate.
Other than that, it's actually like relatively.
Move to the last half of the 5th inning, and this game is starting to first almost imperceptibly, but now a little bit more noticeably turn into a pitcher's duel, as Bowling Green has not scored since their 4-run second. Eastern Michigan retired without scoring for the first time since the 2nd inning. And it's a 7-5 game and still up for grabs here, as Kyle Gurney steps up to the plate for Bowling Green, who's done such an outstanding job at catcher. In addition to walking and singling here in this game, he's 2 for 2 in terms of reaching, and he takes strike 1. As we said, he had a 14-game hitting streak, ended at Ohio State, but he did draw a walk in that game to keep his on-base streak going, and he still has kept it at 16, but he hits that one high in the air. Hugo just waits for it to descend into his glove for out number 1.
Now, great job once again from Luke Russo, who's now retired 8 of the last 9 Falcon hitters. The only blemish, a leadoff walk to Nathan Archer.
Of course, he had
back in the 3rd inning.
Rose was retired on that sensational leaping play by Hugo to take away a sure extra bases. And Seidel, same fate, although not quite as spectacular play that Hugo made. But nevertheless, that was very early in this skein of outs. After the walk, he's retired the last 6 in a row and has shown very good command. And it's 2-0 now on Nathan Rose, and the last time up, he was absolutely robbed, and he would like to make amends for that here. He's been slumping of late. Looked like he'd broken out of it in a big way.
You don't see
but Hugo took it away from him. Now it's 2 balls and a strike.
No, it's fine.
That was Rose. Actually, this is Seidel at the plate. Then it'll be Rose.
Where's sunscreen?
So he's still looking to get up here and turn things around. And that ball is hit. That's what we similarly saw earlier. But it didn't get by the infielder. His cross was up in the grass, and the ball was just hit too hard for him to handle. An infield base hit, but that play in the last inning, the ball wasn't hit hard enough, and they got the runner at the plate.
Yeah, good-looking swing at that time. Caught Josh Cross there in the in-between hop. That's going to go down as a base hit all the way. And Sam Seidel, now for the 25th time in 28 games, has reached base safely.
Yeah, so they've got Gurney with 16 straight games where he's reached base, and Seidel with his numbers. And so between those two guys, you've got some really productive players in that number 2 and 3 spot in the lineup. Now Rose is up trying to break through that slump that we talked about.
And this is a running situation with 1 out, runner on first, even though they're down 2. Seidel 5th in the MAC in stolen bases. And certainly Eastern Michigan more than aware as Russo once again throws over. As Seidel has a very nice lead here against the 6'4 senior.
And they already got Nathan Archer stealing on a pitch out when he was 9 of 9. That one's up high.
I would think once they get to what they think is going to be an off-speed count, they'll probably send Sam Seidel in motion here. Again, just playing for a run here. You got a lot of baseball left. There's a quick move over from Russo. Seidel back in time.
A couple of times that were fairly close. Made him hit the deck to get back in. Now he's off. And that pitch is well outside.
That's going to be another balk. That time, Russo, too concerned about Seidel, did not come to a pause. And I think that's the 3rd balk call we've had here this afternoon, Greg.
And the second on Russo, and Wilson had that one earlier that was on ball 4. 1 ball, no strikes. And puts it in for strike 1, so they get that runner to scoring position without even having to venture the steal, which just about everyone in the park knew was coming.
That's a big play. It takes off the double play. It gives BG a couple opportunities to drive home a run from second base.
And you see once again where second baseman Taylor is cheating a little bit. They made a throw over to second, and we saw earlier where Newman hit the ball right through that gap that was created for a base hit. It was outside. 2 balls and 1 strike on Nathan Rose. Rose is a first-team All-MAC selection. And back to second base, but scrambling back in time. But he's certainly not going to go wandering. They're paying so much attention to him.
Most guys would tell you it's easier to steal third than it is second, so that's certainly the reason Eastern keeps throwing to second.
And that's in the dirt. Check swing. They're going to call it a strike. But the ball was in the dirt, and that allows Seidel to scoot into third.
Tremendous dirt ball read by the freshman. That ball did not get away from Dolney very far, but just enough to advance him. And now that's going to force the infield in here with a 2-2 count and 1 out.
Got him in on the hands, and he just fouled it off the thin part of the bat. 2-2.
Right now, you know Rose is thinking base hit, but you have to at least be situational, find something you can lift to the outfield or drive hard up the middle.
And instead, he waved the bat at that outside pitch and got called for strike 3. That's a big, big hurdle, and that allows Eastern to draw back their infield.
Watch it right here. Nasty cutter there. The bottom kind of falls off that. That had a lot of lateral movement early on. It's a big punch out there to Nathan Rose, and that'll turn it over to Nathan Archer.
That's the kind of
pitch
pitch
that 1 to strike out and a walk here.
Looked like it was going to be in the strike zone and kept tailing to the outside by the time it got to the plate. 1 ball, no strikes on Archer, who has struck out and walked. Then he got thrown out stealing for the first time this year. And a good backhand play by Dolney to keep that ball from escaping. If Russo can get out of this inning, that'd be 3 straight goose eggs that he put up for the Falcons after a really rocky start. But he's having trouble finding the plate here. It's 3-0.
Archer, probably not the guy you want to put on. He's got great wheels. He represents the tying run.
And 4 pitches, 4 balls, and runners at the corners now. Second walk that Archer's drawn today. Meanwhile, what activity there is in the Eastern bullpen does not appear to be particularly fervent.
And right now, there's just stretching going on in that Eastern bullpen. That could change awfully soon here, as we're in the 5th inning with 2 outs. The tying run on first base.
Again, like we said, Russo threw a lot of pitches in those first 2 innings. Ross, the batter, just outside. Once again, that ball tailing. Ross doubled and scored in the 2nd inning, flied to right in his last at bat. Now he needs to hit safely to get this run in. And they really had a great opportunity when they had the infield drawn in. A fly ball would score. Any kind of ground ball would probably score the runner from third, but they were unable to take advantage of it. And now it's a 1-1, and Russo is within range of getting out of this inning. Tough breaking pitch for a strike.
Oh, that's a nasty 1-1 pitch. And now Russo's got to count his favorite 1-2. If you wonder if Archer might be taking off on the pitch right here.
Again, they're shading him to right. Quite a gap there in left center. And that ball is blocked. But they said he went around. That's the 3rd time that there's been an appeal over there down to the first and third base umpire. And each time they've said the batter went. And that ends the inning. Bowling Green fails to score after having a runner on third with 1 out. And after 5, it's still 7-5 Eastern.
Don't stop me, don't stop me.
L'Oréal Paris introduces Color-Riche Intense Volume Matte. Shades of Conviction. Our first intense powdery matte. Boosted volume and up to 16-hour wear to empower every woman. Color-Riche Intense Volume Matte by L'Oréal Paris.
We're worth it.
This BCSN broadcast is presented by Bowling Green State University, a public university for the public good. Visit bgsu.edu to learn more.
Not too long ago, I didn't envision myself saying that we're going into the top of the 6th of a pitching duel, but it's starting to settle into that. Bowling Green has not scored in the last 3 innings. Ramos had a strong 5th, getting Eastern without any scores, and the score is 7-5, and it's been that way since the top of the 4th inning.
Yeah, both teams are doing a nice job settling in pitching-wise. You just have to wonder as far as Luke Russo, his pitch count now at 101, but he's looked awfully strong the last 3 innings, throwing up some zeros for Eastern Michigan.
Josh Cross took ball 1, and he wraps it to second, but it is right at Seidel, who throws on for the out. And that will bring up Hopkins. As you see, hit that ball well, but Seidel didn't even have to move for it. Hopkins has doubled, walked. 2 runs came in on that double. But a big first out. Breaking pitch. And he fouls it. A good one-hand play over there by Coach Roof. It'd be good for one of those vintage baseball teams where they play without gloves. Another breaking pitch. Well, you had said after Ramos had that trouble early that he's the type of guy who can bounce back from that, and so far he has done that. That one, though, is laced into left field solidly. That's the second hit of the game for Taylor Hopkins. And gets Eastern Michigan going here in the top half of the sixth with a one-out single. And now Darren Kraft coming to the plate. He's 0 for 3 today, one of the few that have not been able to join in. Looks like we have a pinch hitter.
This is Kyle Schroeder up right now.
It's Schroeder.
For Eastern. After Kraft had that nice base hit off
Kraft
the
had the base
changeup
hit.
from
Gotcha.
Ramos.
Okay.
Right now, Eastern Michigan just want to find a way to extend a lead here. Boy, there's a healthy swing from Schroeder there, who is swinging for the downs. But the grad transfer quickly falls behind Ramos, 0-1.
So Schroeder is 1 for 3. And that one's high and away.
Ramos continues to miss upstairs, but he's competing. That's the one thing I think Coach Halleck would be pleased with the fact that he doesn't have his best stuff right now. But he's finding a way to compete. He's pitching backwards. He's trying to move the baseball around on both sides of the plate. Looking for a double play ball right here.
Outside.
There's that changeup once again. That same pitch that Kraft was able to lace into left field, although the one that Kraft saw ended up staying up and in. That one's out and away.
Fastball. Knee-high strike. He reared back for that one.
Yeah, good-looking pitch right now. Now, if you're Ramos, you have to avoid the 3-ball count. You don't want to give Eastern Michigan an extra chance to put a runner in motion here.
19 and 18 on the season. What were the big notes and takeaways from last week?
The 2-2, and he came in once again with a little something extra there, knee-high, and got him for a called third strike. And Ramos, save for that one sharp single he gave up, has been tough again.
Good-looking fastball, a lot of glove side run to it. That's the second punch out for Ramos. Comes at a good time. That's going to keep Darren Kraft right at first base here. Now the outfield go to the no doubles defense here with 2 outs, runner at first.
Logan Hugo, who's taken away a couple of doubles with his play in center field, steps up. And Ramos is within range of putting another goose egg up on the board. And has looked pretty sharp here, especially that last at bat. Getting Schroeder on those 2 consecutive fastballs, have a lot of good natural movement on it. That one just off the strike zone. 1 ball, 1, no strikes.
In case you wondered, Darren Kraft just 4 for 7 on stolen bases on the season.
We were 12 and 16. I was 4 and 4. Barton was 3 and 3.
Few guys that they have that don't have really good numbers in that regard. 2 and 0.
Yeah, both teams all in all have excellent team speed. You combine that with the fact they also have that aggressive mindset. They're going to put a lot of pressure on teams on the base pass.
That one is hit high in the air, not too deep. Should not be a problem in center field for Archer. And the inning is over. So Eastern Michigan now has had 2 consecutive goose eggs. And we haven't had a change in score since the 4th. We go to the last of the 6th. It's 7-5 Eastern. Here's a look at your MAC standings. And Ball State and Kent State tied at the top. Kent, of course, a perennial power in the MAC. They narrowly missed beating Ohio State recently, losing 7-6 in a tight game, and they have an excellent record, 12-6 against Big Ten opposition the last few years. Ohio in 3rd, Central in 4th, and with only 4 teams, that's what we said, with only 4 teams qualifying, it's a tough road for teams like Eastern and Bowling Green to get in, but if it was a bigger pool of playoff teams as it was for many years, they'd be right in the hunt. And strike on the outside corner as we get underway in the Bowling Green 6th.
Yeah, this is the 5th MAC weekend series for both teams. There's a total of 10 with 11 teams.
Fugit with a ground ball to second base, kind of a lazy roller, and no problem for Corey Taylor. And one down, Russo continues his mastery of the Falcons since those first rough innings he had.
Yeah, it's just been impressive what he's been able to do. Really done a nice job of selling in and making it very difficult for these Bowling Green hitters that came out with a lot of confidence.
Well, maybe that'll impress some of the scouts that are out here watching him today.
I tell you what, there's several out here. They came for that very reason, to see Luke Russo, who's had some impressive numbers for the Eagles this season. And right now, Eastern Michigan trying to keep their winning ways here against the Falcons. You have to go all the way back to the 2005 season. Last time Bowling Green was able to defeat the Eagles in a series. And that was back when they had, I think 2 of the games were up at Ypsilanti at O-Strike Stadium. One of the games was here at Stellar Field. And so that's when they kind of split the series up. Now it's either on the road or you're at home. The Falcons trying to cash in, even though they dropped the opener last night. In tough luck fashion, letting a 1-run lead in the 9th inning slip away.
Ostrike Stadium, named after their longtime manager, Ron Ostrike, and his son is still on the squad at Eastern. That one in the dirt. But talking about Russo and the scouts out watching him, you know, anybody can go out and watch a guy be dominant. If he's got great stats, then you know that he's doing that. But a lot of times, what they're going to look for is things like, how do you respond to adversity? And in that regard, he's done a great job.
You're exactly right. You know, as a college coach, anytime I went out to try to recruit, I thought the same thing. I'd rather see the guy have an off day because I want to see how his demeanor is. Is he a good teammate? What's his approach? What's his mindset? You can learn a whole lot about a young man during some tough moments.
And that ball will just clear. It's the old saying that you can learn a lot more from losing than you do from winning sometimes. Just as long as it doesn't become too much of a habit. You don't want to become too smart. But certainly I think that anybody watching Russo in this game would have to be impressed with his resilience.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. Remember, he's pushing 110 pitches right now, so you know he's not going to go a whole lot further, but they'd love to see him maybe complete out this 6th inning here. And again, save that bullpen that they had to use last night in that come-from-behind win. In fact, Eastern Michigan probably used their top 2 bullpen guys last night. So if you're Bowling Green right now, you'd like to put it in today for Russo. It's been so effective from that 2nd inning on.
We said with that thin bullpen that they have, they really needed to get some mileage out of Russo, and it didn't look like they were going to get it. Banjoff works him for a walk. That is the 5th walk he's yielded, but he walked the first 2 batters of the game. But it still belies his outstanding strikeout walk ratio. He came into the game with 58 strikeouts and only 12 walks. And today he has 5 strikeouts. So 5 strikeouts and 5 walks. He's going at a 1-1 ratio.
Now the Falcons going with Jack Krause to hit for Ryan Johnson. A big moment in this game. You'd love to get the tying run on base and turn the lineup over to leadoff man DJ Newman, who's in the on-deck circle.
Jack
Krause,
just a 117 average, but only 60 at-bats. And you think of that in terms of a major league scenario, you wouldn't attach much significance to somebody's average after just that number of at-bats.
You know, Krause was an everyday player last year for the Falcons, so he's had a lot of big game experience and certainly a big moment right here for the senior.
We've got a lot of guys like that who have proven their ability, and they're hoping that they will be able to tap into that before the season is over and go on a run. We saw those standings. It doesn't necessarily look good, but if a team can go on a winning streak, they could get right back into it. And Bowling Green certainly has the talent on their team to do that. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kraus. Outside, but he laid off of that. Last year, Kraus actually started 51 games out of Bowling Green's 52, hit 273. Out of Brighton, Michigan. So he definitely was a solid everyday player. Just outside corner, 3 balls, 2 strikes. His dad, Andy, played at Michigan State and was drafted by the Oakland A's, so he definitely has the pedigree too, just like in the Roof family. Payoff pitch swung on, and he turned and ripped it, but foul down that first base line. Of course, Banjoff was off with the pitch.
Yeah, full count, 1 out. You kind of expect that, especially from a Kyle Halleck coach team. Remember last year, Bowling Green led the MAC in stolen bases. This year they've been hovering around the number 3 mark. Their biggest problem has been getting on first base, really stealing first base. When they've been there, they've been aggressive.
Swung on and missed. And then the runner's going on a delayed steal attempt, and they got him. And that is a double play to end the inning. And Bowling Green's had 2 caught stealings today, which is a rarity. And we've reached the end of 6, and it is still 7-5 Eastern Michigan. And we are back here, 7-5. You were talking about Kyle Halleck, Bowling Green coach. We mentioned about Kent State and how they've been a perennial power in MAC play, and one of the big reasons they've been a perennial power is because they've had such great pitchers come through. That Eric Lauer, who was the National Pitcher of the Year back in 16, and Kyle Halleck was part of that. He was an All-American pitcher for the Golden Flashes from 08 to 11, and he was the MAC Pitcher of the Year in 2011, so certainly you got to feel like that's going to have a salutary effect to the Bowling Green pitching staff, which in fact has been the case. Their pitching has been very solid, and here Ramos doing much that Russo did. He got greeted rudely and looked like he was maybe in for a tough day, but coach stuck with him just as Coach Roof stuck with Russo, and they're rewarding that confidence.
Yeah, they really are. And these 2 coaches are 2 of the best. You mentioned Kyle Halleck, what a job he's done with the Falcons. They're really at head of the charts as far as pitching numbers. Their problem has been offensively, just hitting .211 as a team. He certainly has got some nice young guys in here. I think you're going to continue to get better. And then we're going to have a pinch hitter, I believe, leading things off here for Eastern Michigan. This would be, correction, would be Eric Dolney here, is still going to bat here. Coach Roof came out, signaled some change. It will be Dolney leading things off here, and why not? He's had a nice game, not just at the plate, but behind the dish. He's been stellar for the Eagles here this afternoon.
And he had to hit the last one, and he's going to have another one here as he golfs it into the right field corner for a stand-up double. He was stopped from scoring when he got thrown out at the plate back in the 5th inning, but he's now 2 for 4 on the game, and he got all of that one.
Great looking swing that time. Watch it right there. Pretty good looking pitch by Ramos, and he had to go downstairs to golf that one down the right field line, but he's in standing. Once again, Eastern Michigan finding a way to get that leadoff man aboard.
Here is Corey Taylor. He's had a home run and 2 walks, scored 2 runs.
You would think this is going to be a sack bunt situation for the 9-hitter Taylor, trying to get Dolney to third base here with less than 2 outs. He's swinging.
He showed the power with the home run, but he also showed good plate discipline drawing the 2 walks. You don't necessarily as much expect power out of your number 9 hitter. He certainly provided that. That jolting drive in the 4th inning that tied the game at that point, 5-5, after Bowling Green had led 5-1. Had some juice on it, but low. Bowling Green led 3-0 early in the game yesterday, and then they also led into the 9th and lost. And here they have a 5-1 lead, albeit still early. Nevertheless, when you get leads like that, you like to put it into the W column. It's not too late for them, but they've got to hold the Eagles down. There's a throw down to third. What a perfect throw, and got him. As Dolney took off, but an absolutely perfect throw by Gurney. Got Dolney, who's 8 for 8. So we've had two guys with perfect steal records come to an end here today.
Well, that time Dolney had an excellent jump. This throw was right where it had to be there.
He slid right into the tag.
Right at the base, right ankle high. Boy, that's a big play. That certainly changed the complexion of this city.
Does it ever? And now this does even more, as on a 1-2 pitch, Taylor goes down swinging, and they go from a man in scoring position and nobody out after the leadoff double to 2 outs and nobody on. And Glenn Miller will have to strike something up here in the top half of the 7th for the Eagles, but both Luke Russo and Rigo Ramos have done a really good job of fighting through some early turbulence to turn in solid performances. 1 ball and no strikes on Miller. And he gets him to hit it high in the air. And that will be playable for Fugit. And the inning is over. Still anyone's ball game here as we've reached the 7th inning stretch. 7-5 Eastern.
I'm your overly competitive brother.
Check.
Psych.
Really? Dude, that's a foul!
And now you're ready to settle a score. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, well, you can end up paying for all this yourself. So get Allstate.
$6 your way deal at BK. All your taste buds will say hooray. And for just $6, your wallet will too. When hunger calls, you know what to do. BK, have it your way.
Just an ideal day for baseball. This is one of those days where let's play 2. And, of course, they are playing 2 today. A lot of those fans will probably enjoy lounging in the sun all day long. We've got a new pitcher coming in for Eastern Michigan, and we kind of anticipated that that would be the case after the number of pitches. Really, if it wasn't for the first 2 innings where Russo piled up so many pitches, they'd probably still be sticking with him. But they go to Bobby Jones, who has a 6.53 ERA, an 0-3 record, 9 appearances, 15 strikeouts, 8 walks. Opponents have been hitting .295 against him in 20 2/3 innings. Not super stellar statistics, but again, 20 innings maybe not really enough to give a full picture there.
Yeah, Russo finishes with 117 pitches thrown. He went 6 complete innings. But the impressive thing about Russo, Greg, was that perseverance, as you alluded to earlier. The fact that he was really roughed up, didn't have his best stuff, that was clear early. But he battled. He overcame some adversity, overcame some errors. He overcame that deficit early. He really settled in nicely. And now the bullpen comes in as Bobby Jones inherits a 2-run lead here to start things out with leadoff hitter DJ Newman here in the bottom of the 7th.
Bobby Jones was a Xavier recruit. He spent a year there, though he did not play. Out of Loveland, Ohio, the Cincinnati area. So he definitely has a lot of upside despite the less than impressive numbers that he sports at the moment. 2 balls and 1 strike. He was honorable mention all conference. That's a tough baseball conference. And, he really came in with that. Newman couldn't get around on it, 2-2. Starting to get into crunch time here, last of the 7th. Bowling Green lost that game Friday, and they really need to pick up this one. But twice he comes in on Newman and blows him out of there for strike 1.
The impressive start here for Bobby Jones. Fell behind DJ Newman 2-0. There he comes back with a nice fastball, just challenges the freshman. And Newman just a little bit tardy on it. Big first out for Eastern Michigan.
He was tardy in school.
Two-run lead.
He was tardy and school was out after that second consecutive fastball that he came in with. Now Gurney holds up there. He has walked, singled, flied to center, and played a superlative game behind the plate. And I would have said that even before he made that great throw down to third to get Dolney. And you saw on the replay, it was a great replay, the tremendous jump that he had.
Yeah, he's
took a
been
perfect throw to get him, and he got that.
All season, just been a force behind the dish. Everybody in the back knows that, but he also has led Bowling Green at batting average, runs scored, hits. Also leads with 19 walks. Well, there's a good hold right there. That's a tough pitch. Really nothing you're going to do with that pitch, 2-0. So you're wise to let that go. He still hears count at 2-1.
That's the advantage of getting up in the count, is you can afford to take some strikes that you couldn't take if you were down in the count. And the idea of waiting out a pitcher and getting him out his pitch count, tiring him out, that all is dependent upon getting ahead of the pitcher in the count. And he ends up drawing ball 4. So Gurney's aboard. That will put the tying run at the plate in the person of Sam Seidel.
Yeah, great at bat by the senior. Kyle Gurney did his job. Right now, he knew he wasn't going to tie it with one swing, but what he has to do, bring that tying run to plate. He's done that as Sam Seidel. Looking for his second hit. He's had 2 quality bats, had that sack bunt in the first, got robbed of a hit there in the second, had a nice base hit back in the 5th.
There are 3 quality at bats. And that was really tight. It hit him.
We'll add another one right there as he takes one for the team. And just like that, the Falcons have the tied run on first base with just 1 out.
And Nathan Rose is up. He's due after getting robbed and also having some difficulties at the plate leading up to that over the last several games.
Now Rose is 0 for 7 this series. You just don't feel that's going to hold very long. You'd love to see him break out right here. He's the leading RBI man for Bowling Green on the season with 25. There he takes ball 1 out and away.
And even though he got robbed on that other one, he had to feel good about the contact that he made on that play where he was absolutely had grand larceny committed on him by Logan Hugo in center field. One of the best catches you'll ever see. And he's worked up in the count 2-0, and now you've had a walk and a hit batter, and you want to, again, make the pitcher show that he can throw strikes. If he's going to beat himself, let him. They're going to go walk out and talk to him on the mound.
Yeah, great mound visit by the senior catcher, Aaron Dolney. Just the fact you want to try to settle Bobby Jones down. Right now you have to pitch with the lead. Not the way you wanted to start the inning, but right now you just have to make a quality pitch, flush the first 2 hitters. To go after Nathan Rose, looking for his first hit of the series.
And their umpire's going to come out and just check on it, maybe break up things here. As they do have the bullpen going, and they're going to try to buy some time. Again, Eastern hopeful that they don't have to go to the bullpen too much because they got another game to play here. There's the work. They got a left-hander going down there. That is, in fact, Trevor House. His brother Thomas House, pitched a fine game yesterday, went 6 innings. Tom House, why is that a famous name as far as pitchers are concerned?
Another baseball name. Again, nice to see we have several siblings playing on the same team here this weekend.
Outside, Tom House was in the bullpen for the Los Angeles Dodgers when he caught in the bullpen Hank Aaron's 715th home run that broke Babe Ruth's all-time record. So his name went down in history just for that. And Thomas House, also a pitcher, and his brother Trevor in the bullpen right now. Ball 4. That's 3 free passes in a row after that opening strikeout. And now Bowling Green is in great position to possibly even get back into the lead in this game, as Nathan Archer coming up, and he's drawn 2 walks in his last 2 trips.
Yeah, I thought Bowling Green before the game felt confident. If they get in this type of game, this is where they can have some success. The fact that Eastern's got a thin bullpen, they had to use a few guys last night, and right now they have the tying run in scoring position, potential go-ahead run at first base, and just 1 out. And perhaps one of their top hitters in Nathan Archer stepping to the plate.
Trevor House bearing down in the bullpen, trying to get warm. He's throwing like he means business. And you see the council meeting. I think they have a quorum for a meeting there with everybody in from the infield. And it's a tight spot for Eastern. They've been kind of breezing along the last 4 innings. And they have made the move. And Trevor House will enter the game in a very precarious situation as Bowling Green looks to get back on top. We'll come back in just a moment. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we return to Stellar Field. Trevor House is the new pitcher. And his brother started yesterday and pitched well, and now he's got his opportunity to contribute to a Eastern Michigan victory. Interesting that he's a left-handed pitcher and his brother is a right-handed pitcher. I'm not sure how that worked out, but he is on the season for Eastern Michigan. 4.97, 2-1 record. This is 11th appearance, 12 2/3 innings pitched. He's held opponents to a 186 batting average. 14 strikeouts and 13 walks. Control might be somewhat of an issue. Last year, he was 0-2 with an 8.88 ERA, although the previous year he was much more impressive. 2-1 record, 19 games, 27 strikeouts in 26 innings.
Yeah, he's had great numbers other than what you mentioned. The walk ratio's been a little bit higher than Coach Roof would like. But opponents, again, hit just 186 off of Trevor House. And right now, he'd love nothing better than a double play ball here. Although it's going to be tough to double up the left-handed hitter, Nathan Archer, who has great wheels.
Swung on and missed. And 4.97 is actually a very respectable ERA in college baseball in most circles. In fact, I believe Kent State had the top ERA in the MAC and right around that level. As of fairly recently, anyway. 1 ball and 1 strike to Archer. Struck out, then drawn a walk his last 2 times. Lefty versus a lefty. He hits that ball a mile in the air. It's still drifting back. It won't reach the fence, but will clearly be long enough to bring in the run. And also, not only does Gurney score, but Seidel tags and takes third. So a sac fly RBI, 7-6 game, and the tying run is 90 feet away.
A nice job by Archer. That's his 6th sacrifice fly on the season. He came in 12th in the nation in sacrifice flies. Adds 1 to the total right there. But a big out for Eastern Michigan. And now the Falcons have the tying run just 90 feet away as the lineup turns to Tyler Ross. 1 for 3 with a double run scored back in the 2nd inning.
That's a category that isn't necessarily one that is going to grab a lot of headlines, but very, very important. Outside, we've seen a lot of those little things that have made such a big difference in the game. And that ability to just put the ball in play and get the run home. And then advancing the runner to third base now, anything will bring him in. As Ross doubled, scored, and made a great play at first base very early in the game.
Well, Bowling Green wants more runs, but they had to get a run here. I felt the fact that they got to win innings, They're also getting deeper and deeper into that Eastern Michigan bullpen.
We got a righty against the lefty outside corner.
Yeah, that time, good hold from Rose. That time a 2-0 pitch. Had a lot of arm side run away from him by the lefty House.
And that one there was no question about, as he really tried to give it a ride but couldn't catch up to it. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Again, Trevor House, he's got a lot of arm side run, making that ball tail away from the righty Tyler Ross.
Again, they're giving him a lot of opening in left center field for a right-handed hitter if he could pull it. And again, they're trying a little gamesmanship on the base paths to draw a throw down to second. Eastern doesn't go for it, but that puts 2 runners in scoring position now. A base hit could put the Falcons in front.
Yeah, really surprised that Aaron Dolan did not arm fake on that. I could see why not throw it. He got too good a jump. He always arm fake to try to maybe get the guy off third to go a little further. That time it's going to be a walk. So again, the freebies here aid the Falcons' cause. The 4th freebie of this inning. Right now, they just need 1 hit in this inning here to possibly retake the lead.
3 walks and a hit batter, accounting for those 4 free passes. And now Justin Fugit, the Purdue transfer, stepping up with a chance to really make an impact in the game. And a good breaking pitch. And it's so important to get up in the count now, which House has been able to do. And another good-looking pitch. Gets him up 0-2.
A great-looking hammer from Trevor House. Starts out in the outer third and catches that outside corner. Quickly on top, 0-2.
He's trying to show that he's a house built on solid rock here, not giving in a key situation. You need to get out of this inning, at least still holding on to the lead. There's a breaking pitch, but it's punched through the left side of the infield. 1 run's in. The throw coming home will be up the line, and Bowling Green has reclaimed the lead on a clutch 2-out RBI single by Justin Fugit.
What a tremendous at-bat by the senior Justin Fugit. That time he sees his 3rd consecutive curveball. He just goes the other way, finds the hole. By the time Matt Kirk can throw it in, 2 Falcons come across. And Bowling Green has recaptured the lead 8-7 here in the 7th.
Boy, a great bat indeed. He was down 0-2 on 2 dominating pitches. He was waiting for the same kind of pitch that he was down in the count on, and that time he went with it, took it into left field for the base hit to put the Falcons back up for the first time since it was 5-1 in the 3rd, or 5-4 in the 4th. And now the batter is Banjoff, the Nebraska transfer, and he's up 2-0 on the count. He singled and scored. Drawn a walk, 1 for 2 officially. And Bowling Green would like to just keep coming, get some more runs here on the board, not be satisfied with just getting the 1-run lead back. Two balls, 1 strike. And a breaking pitch got away. The runners will advance. So a wild pitch puts the 2 Falcons close to being able to roost at home plate. And a 3-run lead would sure look a lot more secure than a 1-run lead going into the last 2 innings of the game. There's a high pop. Will that stay in the yard? Looks like it will. And the ball is caught by Josh Cross to end the inning. But Bowling Green comes back. They plate 3 to go up 8-7 as we head to the 8th. Good crowd out here at Stellar Field on this stellar day for baseball. And almost a windless day, too. Yesterday was a good day to play, but there was quite a wind that was blowing across this ball yard. Bowling Green has recovered the lead, 8-7. Those free passes will just kill you. 3 walks, a hit batter. 3 of them come around to score just on the 1 hit by Justin Fugit, but he sure came through when he had to with that 2-run single. And Rigo Ramos, who now could collect the win as the pitcher, will face Logan Hugo to lead off the Eastern Michigan 8th.
Ramos looking for that shutdown inning, which is so important in winning baseball games. Came to this inning with 51 pitches. There you see pitch number 53. And that one's upstairs, even to count to 1-1. The dangerous Matt Kirk.
Well, Kirk is the batter.
Last year's MAC Player of the Year, 17 home runs.
And he slammed that ball, and it was just beyond the range for a moment. I thought that Fugit might try to make the catch. Then he pulled up and ended up taking it with one hand.
A great start for Matt Kirk once again, who just continues to swing a hot bat. This is the part of the lineup that needs to get it done for Eastern Michigan. Remember, the last 4 hitters of this Eagle lineup have a combined batting average below the Mendoza line. So right here, important juncture for Ramos. As we'll look at Josh Cross, who's just a triple away from hit for the cycle here this afternoon.
You got a home run, a single, and a double in 3 successive at-bats. That one's up high and away. So if in case there was any thought that Eastern was going to go away quietly, that has definitely been proven not the case. Although just the 1-run game, it was a big job to be able to get out of that inning and just stay 1 down, which could be a dispiriting thing anyway when you're up. And then you see that lead melt away. But that's sometimes when you really have to dig down deep and keep the damage minimized, and that's what they did. And now here they've got the tying run on base again. A throw down to first. They got him. They've been coming fairly close to picking off guys all game long, and finally it happens.
Oh, that time a base running blunder, you have to get dirty. I'm not so sure the tag got him. There's a quick throw by Ramos, but you have to get dirty on that. That time an awkward movement. I think Steve Beller, the first base official, ruled his foot came off the base in that awkward attempt to get back. So what a play there from Ramos there. Boy, what a huge play this juncture.
And this makes things considerably less tight with Cross at the plate, but still, all it takes is 1 swing of the bat. And they've got these guys who are certainly capable of doing just that, changing the course of the game with 1 swing. Cross has got a home run today, which was his 9th of the year. And that one's high for 3 balls and 1 strike, but if he happens to get on base, that'll just magnify the importance of that runner getting picked off. And he does. So now instead of first and second and nobody out, you've got a runner on first with 1 out. But with Hopkins coming to the plate, it's still a dangerous situation.
Yeah, great job by Cross. It certainly makes that pickoff move maybe hurt a little bit more if you're Eastern Michigan. And again, you have to flush it. You have to find a way to get Josh Cross home. Now you have the hot-hitting Taylor Hopkins at the plate.
And that left-handed motion certainly behooved Ramos in picking off Kirk. He's low on that first pitch to Hopkins. Bowling Green has right-hander in the bullpen.
Hopkins 4 for 8 in the series with a walk. Looking for hit number 5 right here.
Sales. Hopkins a double and a walk today. Also grounded to second and struck out back in the first inning. And then he fouls that one off. Makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
A good 2-0 pitch. You just cannot afford to Miss across the hard plate against Hopkins, who has 7 home runs on the season. That time a nice fastball on a 2-0 pitch on that outside black.
Hopkins from Cincinnati area, played for Moeller, and he set a record for doubles, and he almost got another one there. But instead, it is run down in center field by Nathan Archer. And that retires Hopkins. Now, if you had a runner on first and second, you tag and you go to third on that play.
That ball's hit on the screws by Hopkins. You have a runner on first and second. Bowling Green may not be in a no-doubles defense with the time run at second base, but that time Archer playing awfully deep, no-doubles defense, and it pays off as that time was hit on the screws by Hopkins.
So Ramos is going to be removed here, but you have to say he put in a good relief effort as he'll set the table for the new pitcher, Owen Recker, and we'll come back and tell you about him. And Ramos gets a good round of applause from, I'm sure, a lot of his friends from the area, the Archbold product. We'll be right back. Owen Recker, the new pitcher, 4.50 ERA, his 11th appearance of the year, 9 strikeouts, 8 walks. Opponents have hit .286 against him. He came in as the highest-rated recruit to Bowling Green since Prep Baseball Report began ranking players. In 2012, he was ranked as the number 4 pitcher in all of Ohio and the number 11 overall player in Ohio. So they need a blue chipper in right now.
He's had some great numbers for the Falcons. Another one of those multi-sport athletes in high school. Played basketball and baseball to Clyde Wildcats. His last 7 outings, he's only given up 3 runs in 91 third innings pitch with 8 strikeouts, just 6 hits. He has 2 saves on the season. One against nationally ranked Louisville in Louisville earlier in the season, looking for save number 3 here this afternoon.
First pitch gets away, though. Not an auspicious beginning. That allows Cross to get to second base. So now the stakes are higher on this at-bat. Recker was first team All-Ohio in 2018.
Right now, first base open. You do not have to give in to Darren Kraft hitting .327.
.1-0 pitch, and he challenged him, and the challenge was accepted, but couldn't get around on it, could Kraft.
There's that fastball that can get as high as 94 mile an hour. That time paints it on the inside corner. Just no chance that time for Kraft. Count even at 1-1.
When you got that kind of pace, you can maybe just try to come in fresh like that. Just draw back for that little bit of extra and get you through. With 2 outs, 2 balls and a strike. Kraft got his first hit, a base hit his last time up. He's 1 for 4 on the day. Outside, gave the corner. He seems to be giving the outside corner fairly generously. So that's the sort of thing you have to adjust to if you're a hitter.
You're exactly right. You know, that time a tough 2-1 pitch, probably a good hole, but now with 2 strikes, you're going to have to go after that pitch. We'll see what Recker has up his sleeve here. 2s are wild.
And that one's 2 outside for even the most generous interpretation. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Again, you don't have to give in here on the payoff pitch. You have Kyle Schroeder on deck, a .267 hitter, Kraft at .327.
First base is open and fouled off. So the battle gets deferred for yet another pitch. The whole game possibly riding on each pitch at this stage. Eastern looking to put a little bit of a run together after winning that game on Friday. Both teams need to get hot if they're going to get back into the tournament race. The 3-2, off speed, he stayed with it, laced it into left center. Can he get to it? An amazing catch out in center field by Nathan Archer. That rivals the unbelievable grab we saw by Logan Hugo earlier. If anything, it was even better. I thought that was a sure extra base hit all the way to the wall.
Big time play by Archer, who's got tremendous range. Comes at a great time, and Recker gets him out of a jam.
Bowling Green holds on to their 8-7 lead with this tremendous effort, which is worth another look and then some. We head to the last of the 8th. The Falcons still up 1. Eastern has made another pitching change. Still a left-hander. They went from number 35, Trevor House, to number 45, Gavin King. Let's take another look at this catch. We just can't pass that up as he warms up. This is just, you see how he shaded over to the right. Look at the distance he had to traverse to get to that ball.
You watch him sell out right there. The lefty comes up big time. And, wow, what opportunities Eastern Michigan had after getting their leadoff man on base and getting picked off. They get the tied run in scoring position. And highway robbery there from Nathan Archer protects a one-run Bowling Green lead. So right now, Bowling Green, very similar ground they were a night ago. Up a run late innings. We'll see if they can hold off. Both teams have had struggles closing games this season. Bowling Green just 4-10 in games decided by 1 or 2 runs. Meanwhile, Eastern Michigan just 5-10 in 1 and 2 run games. One of those 5 wins being last night, and that thrilling come behind 8-6 Eagle victory.
Gavin King, a 6.75 ERA. His 6th appearance, 6 2/3 innings, 1-to-1 strikeout walk ratio, 9-9. Opponents have been hitting 200 against him. And that one's upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. And up to hit for Bowling Green is Mason Montgomery, number 11. And that one is up high. Mason Montgomery, just his 13th at bat. He's hitting .083. And he takes a strike there, let her high. This is if you're a Bowling Green fan, you're looking ahead to the 9th and you want to get out and win the game. But of course, they know what happened to him yesterday with a 1-run lead in the top of the 9th. They lost. This very important time for Bowling Green to get some insurance runs. And Mason Montgomery starts it off by drawing a walk.
Well, that's the last thing you want to do is walk the leadoff batter and turn the lineup over to DJ Newman, who has scored a couple runs, 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts, looking for hit number 2 of the day, and also hit number 3 of the series.
Sure, Montgomery is a better hitter than that average indicates in such a limited number of at-bats, but certainly that's a big first out to get when you got a pinch hitter in the number 9 spot. And now you go back up to the top of the order. Newman, despite the fact that his batting average is .257 coming into this game, he hasn't had that many at-bats, and he's been a hot hitter of late. Takes a strike there, and he has a strikeout and a single and a walk. He struck out his last 2 times, however.
Now, Kyle Halleck has a lot of confidence in the freshman Newman, especially in this scenario here where he's came up clutch so many times. That's a great hold right there, and a good-looking 1-1 pitch, just a couple inches maybe off the outside corner. And now Newman's worked the count his favorite, 2-1. He's looking for something in his nitro zone. He gets it. He's swinging to try to drive home a run.
And he hits that ball deep to left center field. Nobody's going to make any kind of a catch on that. A 2-run shot, home run by DJ Newman. And I guess you're not too surprised.
Wow, what a shot there from Newman. That was a SAM, a surface-to-air missile. That time Newman sitting dead red in a hitter's count at 2-1. He gets the fastball down Main Street, and Newman did not miss it. That ball is still going. And I see Grandpa right now chasing that thing down in left field. It's going to be a foot race to see who gets that one.
So Bowling Green lead is now 10-7. And the way that every ball that's been hit into the alley in left center field has been taken away by a great catch, they figured, hey, if I'm going to hit the ball there, I better hit it over the fence. And there's a hit batter. It hit Gurney on the front foot, it appeared. And that's certainly something that would concern you if you're Bowling Green, but he seems to be none the worse for wear as he trots down to first base. And if there's one player you wouldn't want to lose for Bowling Green, it'd be him, probably. There'd be other nominees, too, but he seems to be okay. Free passes are really starting to hurt Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, they really have. Bowling Green's had every hitter in the lineup on base, and all but two have been on base at least 2 or more times. And again, the freebies starting to mount up. And right now, if you're Bowling Green, you don't want to be content with this 10-7 lead. You want to find a way to get greedy here, tack another run or two on here.
You see, he got hit pretty good with that one. That is 6 free passes since the beginning of the previous inning. Now the pitch is just high in the zone on Seidel. Yeah, you mentioned about how Ohio came back from an 8-run deficit with a 10-run inning. You can never have too many runs.
Well, we've seen that so many times in the MAC this season. It's been incredible. That's why you just have to continue to play.
And probably the granddaddy of them all is still that game in the MAC tournament. Like in 2015 when Ball State's on 8-1 ninth inning lead with 1 out. Turned into a loss. Outside. 2 balls and a strike. But the bullpen was thin for Eastern Michigan, and they have not been able to perform particularly well here after Luke Russo did what any starting pitcher's job is, which is to leave the game after a considerable number of innings, putting your team in position to win. He did that, but after Bowling Green was stopped 4 innings in a row, they have opened up on the relief staff, and there's ball 4. So another free pass. And when the 7th inning began, until now, which is basically still just 1 inning because nobody's been retired here in the 8th, they've had 7 free passes. Now Nathan Rose is up. He was absolutely robbed. That catch by Logan Hugo is one of the best catches you'll ever see, but I think it was eclipsed and maybe even considerably eclipsed by that catch we saw from Nathan Archer in that last inning. Archer is on deck right now, and Rose was the one who was victimized by that great catch by Hugo. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, this is just a golden opportunity for Bowling Green to put this game away in the last of the 8th. Strike. But neither Bobby Jones nor Trevor House nor the present pitcher, Gavin King, can be said to have been particularly effective for Eastern. And he hits that one to left center. No one's going to get to that. So another run will come home. They're going to try to send another. The relay just in time, and he's out. So Bowling Green decides to get really aggressive on the base paths.
Wow, what a big
Seidel
time.
came in, but he was thrown out.
Big time play by Heron Dolney behind the dish. This throw is going to short hop, and there you see a 1-2 pitch got up, a mistake there by King. And once again, Bowling Green does not miss it as Rose hits that in the gap. But look at the nice relay. But look at this tough short hop right there and the quick reflex there by Dolney. That's a big-time play to record the first out of the inning.
You know, I don't know about it. Of course, we've said all game that these are both very aggressive base-running teams, and they are being very well served by that. But in this particular situation, where the pitcher hasn't retired anybody, you got to run in on that, and you have a chance to get more runs before the inning's over. Maybe it was not necessary to send him on that play, but on the other hand, maybe you don't get another chance. Man, that ball is hit high and fairly deep. Hugo shading from the sun with his glove, makes the catch, and then the throw goes down to third, but it will not prevent the advance of Nathan Rose. So now there's 2 out. Bowling Green up 11-7. They got thrown out trying to make it 12, but they could still make it 12 as Tyler Ross steps up to the plate.
Greg, the point you were making, the fact that, most teams go by the baseball book. You're not going to make your first out at home, but Cal Halleck understands they're hitting 211 as a team. Their bottom four hitters are hitting 190, 158, 152, 116. So they're not going to stand around and wait for a hit. They're going to put pressure on teams. That's kind of been their DNA all season. And, that time it worked against them. Again, that's the things they're going to do. They're going to make teams make plays, put pressure on you. And credit for Eastern Michigan. They executed the relay to perfection to minimize things.
Yeah, they forced them to execute perfectly. Otherwise, that run would have come in. So certainly it was a calculated risk. Swung on, and they are really teeing off right now. Hugo driven back deep again, but he negotiates it and makes the catch at the warning track. But Bowling Green puts another 3 spot on the board to lead 11-7, and they're 3 outs away from their first win of the series. Bowling Green will try to hammer it down here in the 9th inning. And as Owen Recker, who came in and did the job in the top of the 8th, will now try to do it here in the 9th. Bowling Green, in that game yesterday, they led in the top of the 9th, and Eastern came back and won, but they only had a 1-run lead, and I think that underscores the importance of the 3 runs Bowling Green got in the last of the 8th.
Yeah, no question about it. You have to keep scratching, clawing to try to extend leads, try to put runs on the board. And now Owen Recker trying to get a 4-out save after getting the Falcons out of a jam in the bottom of the 8th inning. Now looking to get through the Eagles here in the 9th. And again, the Eagles, with that come-from-behind victory, scoring 3 in the 9th last night, they're going to need at least 4 here today to extend things.
And remember, this team has won 4 games when they were down by 4 runs or more. And the Eagles certainly aren't out of this game yet. At the plate is Logan Molina. 2-1. He's there pulling out all the stops now to try to overcome this deficit all in 1 inning. Hit a mile in the air. Looks like it's going to get, judging by all the fans that are adopting athletic positions, he catch that ball on the fly? Now, back in the old days, one of the fans could announce themselves into the game and it'd be an out, but that was a long time ago. Pretty good grab, though. Well beyond the confines of the park. The count still 3-2. That's got the fans buzzing almost as much as those great catches we've seen in center field. And that one is off the screen in front of the Bowling Green bench area. Just about every fan in this stadium became outfielders there a moment ago. Then he stays alive by fouling it off. Molina is hitting for Schrodel. And again, he fouls it off. Skied that one down the left field line. He's doing a good job here fending off pitches. See if Recker tries to throw it by him here. Comes with a fastball, but it's low. And the leadoff batter walks. That's always a little bit of an ominous sign, even though you got a 4-run lead.
Right now, Eastern Michigan will take it. They just have to find a way to get that tying run to the plate and then some. That'll bring up Logan Hugo. He will have a pinch runner at first base.
Center fielder, Logan Hugo.
Now, runner on first base and nobody out. And then the off-speed pitch goes for a strike to Logan Hugo. Cole Wilcox is on to run. The only real reason why they might send the runner in motion would be to try to take off a potential double play ball or force play, because that run has to come home if they're going to come back in the game. And there's no point in playing for one run at this stage. And that one is just outside. Or maybe just a bit low or both. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hugo has yet to record a hit, although he's stolen a couple of hits out in center field. Runner's off the throw, and it's up high. A radar-like throw, such as the one that got the runner stealing third. Dolney might have had him, but that throw tailed a little bit, and so it's runner on second base, and now they don't have to worry about the force.
Yeah, Wilcox with his 9th stolen base this season. You're not stealing that base unless you're 100% sure you're going to get it. Again, what that does do, it takes off the double play scenario, but right now Bowling Green just wants to record that first out.
I'm not sure with a perfect throw that would have been a sure thing. Ground ball foul down the third base line. But it does serve a purpose, because if you hit a tailor-made double play ball, then you're not going to be able to get the 2 in that situation. 2-2 to Hugo. And that ball skips away. And that will allow the runner to take third. But again, that's not all that consequential. Certainly if it had been the 8th inning or any other inning, it would have been very consequential. But here all you still have to do is worry about the batter. More concerning might be Recker having some difficulty with his control at this stage. He needs to come in here. He does, but waiting for it, Hugo slashed it foul.
Yeah, right now, Recker coming up on pitch number 16 here of the 9th inning. We're just into the second batter, so he needs to really challenge the hitters, not get too fancy here, go right after him.
Well, that was close, but he signaled wide. There have been a few balls that were on the outside corner that were granted as strikes, but it is ball 4, so now 2 walks. And this is the way these big innings, especially in college baseball, they tend to materialize when you start putting them on for free. That was close. Somewhat surprising he didn't swing at it.
That's the type of pitch you want on 0-2, not on 3-2 where you're trying to protect a 4-run lead. So right now, Recker has to just kind of own up in fact that, hey, I've had 2 hitters, I've gone 3 ball counts, I got a 4-run lead. I have to pitch with the lead. I need those first pitch strikes. I have to trust my defense right now. I'm sure that's what Bowling Green's discussing right now in the bump. Saying, fellas, hey, this is where we want to be. We're 3 outs away from tying this series up. There you see some action down in the Bowling Green bullpen. It looks like, not sure if that's Connor Penrod.
He's been their ace, although he had trouble last night in closing the deal. But that can happen to anyone one time, but they would definitely, could be number 12. Down there, 13 possibly. But at any rate, the one thing about that pitch, though, is it was in a place where it's awful tough to be taking that. That was a call that could have gone either way, and if you induce him to swing at it, that was not a good pitch to swing at for a hitter. And he's just fortunate that he got the ball 4 call. I think that's what Bowling Green was up in arms about, thinking that they'd been given that outside corner quite frequently during the game. So here we go now. And inside pitch to Dolney, who's had a single and a double in 4 trips.
Yeah, right now, if you're Recker, you just need to flush it, try to get a heavy fastball in there, induce that ground ball scenario.
Now the possible double play is back on again. Two balls and no strikes, and Recker still having a hard time locating the plate. Has to go true north here, and he does that time. And when he's got such a good fastball, you can challenge the hitters with that and concentrate more on getting it in the strike zone and letting your defense help you, as you said before, rather than trying to get too fine when you are having trouble locating the plate. The 2-1, and this could be it. It's a little too slow for the double play, and they'll certainly be very happy to exchange an out for a run in this situation. Hugo gets to second base, and there's that first big out, and the score is 11-8.
Great job by Recker. Well located 2-1 pitch, and that time he induces a ground ball. And you're right, Greg, they'll happily exchange the out for the run. But now the Falcon lead still at 3. You just want to keep that tying run on the on-deck circle. Now you have one out.
Here is Corey Taylor, who's homered and walked twice, struck out his last time. Recker outside. It just seems like he's maybe trying to aim the ball a little too much, and rather than just utilizing his velocity. And not trying to nibble the corners too much. That one is foul.
Yeah, you're right. There's a great pitch right there to even things up. You have to remember, Eastern Michigan has last year's MAC home run champ in the hole right now. That's where you want to try to keep him. So you have to just take it one out at a time. But again, you have to minimize freebies. Cannot afford to fall behind the count again.
It's Matt Kirk. Just waiting to come up and swung on and missed. Glenn Miller on deck. Kirk has been swinging a hot bat of late, doubled and singled in his last 3 trips. They'd love to not have him to deal with him. Outside, 2-2. And they'd really not, if he does get up, there's probably going to be enough runners on base where he could tie the game.
Yeah, right now you just don't want to go to that 3-ball count. So if you're Recker, I think you just have to really challenge Corey Taylor right here. Go with your best stuff here against the 9-hole hitter.
Runners off. And strike 3 on the outside corner. And this time it's Eastern Michigan's turn to look back and question the call at the plate. A huge strikeout. They're not concerned about that runner going over to third.
Great pitch right there and a great frame job from Kyle Gurney. And now the Falcons just 1 out away from evening up this series.
But it's come down to this. If Miller gets aboard, then Kirk steps up with a chance to tie the ball game with 1 swing. But it looks like maybe Recker's starting to dial in now as he gets that first strike. Miller has 1 single in 5 trips. Scored a run in the 4th. Another one on the outside corner. All of a sudden, he is starting to really find his spot.
He just rear back and fired right there once again. And now for the first time this inning, finds himself up in the count 0-2. The Falcons just 1 pitch away from sealing the deal.
Too far outside that time, and for the 0-2, you give him a chance to go on a fishing expedition if he wants to. If not, you're still in a commanding position. Crowd is with the rhythmic cheering, swung on, and it is punched into right field for a base hit. A good try over there by Tyler Ross to make his second outstanding catch of the game. But Glenn Miller delivers big time, and that brings Matt Kirk to the plate representing the tying run.
What a big-time delivery by Glenn Miller. Just his second hit and 10 at-bats here in the series. That time hits a pretty good pitch down the line. Smart base running. You don't want to run yourself out of an inning with Matt Kirk coming to the plate. Remember, last year, those 17 home runs, 3rd best in program history for Eastern Michigan.
That's 6 so far this year, and that ball's chopped foul. So how do you handle this if you're Wrecker. You've got that fastball. You can usually maybe overpower guys, but you don't want to necessarily give this guy something too good to swing at.
Now, you don't want to miss across Main Street, but you have to remember they have good hitters behind him. Josh Cross hitting 370, one of the tops of the MAC.
He hits it high in the air. That is going to be playable for sure. A long run, but getting to it. Fugit puts it away, and the ball game is over. Credit Eastern Michigan for creating some anxious moments before they go away, but Bowling Green with an 11-9 victory. Somewhat, I think, deceptive in the sense that after the game settled down, it was a much tighter game than 11-9 would look, but I think the key was that Eastern Michigan, they just weren't able to come up with the effectiveness they needed out of the bullpen once they had a chance to win the game after Russo left after 6.
Well, you're right. Too many freebies given up by Eastern Michigan pitching here this afternoon, but credit Bowling Green. They came to play here this afternoon. They got off to that fantastic start leading 5-1, but credit Eastern Michigan. They came back, were able to take a 2-run margin, but Bowling Green stayed with it. They didn't throw in the towel. They got some great pitching from Rigo Ramos and Owen Recker there down late there. It ends up being a win for the Bobcats.
And maybe the best catch you're ever going to see by Nathan Archer in center field. Took away at least 1 run. Maybe we're still playing if it wasn't for that.
You're exactly right. Big-time plays out there by Bowling Green, who kind of booted around early, but they came back, and there you see the home run there.
But Bowling Green, on the strength of that great catch and some great overall play, wins it 11-9. And for Skip Miller and our entire crew, Greg Franke saying, so long from Stellar Field.